Hi, so here is another book review video. Recently, a lot of not very happy things happened to me, and that caused me to not have time to exercise, and I gained a lot of weight. And as you can see, my head is as round as a ball. Anyways, so I'm gonna talk about Vishen Lakhiani's The Code to. Okay, just let me double check the the name of the book. Yes, because I listened to the audiobook, so I don't remember I don't see the cover of the book all the time. So it's The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. I will leave the author's name and the name of the book in the description below. So in this book, let me talk a little bit about the author. So, the author is he used to be an engineer and he moved to the Silicon Valley, to find his career, and he does have a really good career, and but then. There was a time of really bad economy, and he lost his job and he's like homeless. So he took the last job to go to, I think, Texas or something, to sell softwares to lawyers, and every day the lawyers he called just swears at him and say, F off, don't bother us, blah blah blah. And then he couldn't sell a single one almost of the software, and he was like so depressed and he couldn't get anywhere. He's like in this really bad stage of life. And then because when he was younger, he did this meditation thing called Silva Ultramind. And back then in high school, he didn't look really good. He had pimple all over his face, and then so he really wanted to fix it, and then he doesn't have much hopes for it. He had it for many years, and then he start reading this book about like Silva Ultramind. It's like a way of meditation, and this meditation basically it's like the person's name is Silva, and like that person used to be in the military, doctor kind of person, and he as he's healing, seeing these guys are being hypnotized and to heal their heart and stuff from the war and everything. He discovered that, like, is there some different brain waves to human mind when they're like being hypnotized, and is there a different way to do this? And then he start going to like studying brain waves and studying like how meditation affects your brain, and he also believed the universe has a higher being, sort of like God, but it can be God, it can be anything else, but it's like some kind of connection between the universe and the human being. Or if you're Christian, you can say the God and the human being. Or if you're Buddhism, you can say the Buddha and the human being, whatever. So just this powerful being, and then he tried to this Silva person tried to use this kind of meditation ways to teach his kids to calm down their mind and to have better memories and to do better in academics. And magical thing is that when one day he was like he already trained his kids to get better and better in this, and there's one day he was like testing his daughter again, like about like academic stuff like history stuff. And then so he was asking like her daughter some questions about his history textbook, and he comes. And the magical thing happened that when he forms one of his questions in his mind, which is like I think which the 20th, 30th, I forgot which of the president it is of the United States. Who is that president? And he was looking at the answer, and before he even say it out, his daughter is like, oh, and that is Lincoln. He was so shocked it was the correct answer before he even asked. Before his daughter heard him speak, she already know he's gonna ask this, and he tells him the answer. So that's when he discovered that people can have psychic. Not like it's not like an unrealistic thing. It's kind of like your brainwave is so slow and so calm that you can sense what other people is thinking. So he dedicated his, and then like his neighbors don't believe him. They're like, oh, your kids just naturally are psychic. You can't train someone to be psychic. And then he's like, okay, I can teach your kids. And then he start teaching his neighbors' kids, and then they all start to become really good at this. Um, and then like after many years, he keep on studying it to refine his meditation ways, and come up books. It becomes like really popular. He went to lecture everywhere, and back then people don't believe in meditation. It's an East thing. It's in Asia, so like kind of in India, in China, it's like kung fu, and then in like South Asia is like yoga, and then these kind of thing that use kind of physical things, or like some kind of calm your heart to have more like focused and calm mind to be able to even almost as if you are having a sidekick. So this kind of thing is not popular in Western culture. So what he says is that he says it's the science of brainwaves, and then they like when the technology is more advanced, they put these little metal things on people's brain, and they would pray or they would meditate, and their brain waves is literally different. It's either it's normally slower. Like for monks, it's faster, but they're trying to blank out their mind. But if you're just calming your mind, and if you are thinking about stuff, you are going deep into your unconsciousness, your brain waves become slower. It's like when you're are having a sleep, and then like when people say this kind of brainwave is the same similar to when you're asleep and you're dreaming, and then they test it out. It's the same kind of brainwave. Anyways, so Vishen Lakhiani is used bought his book when he was a teenager, and then he used this way to like meditate 3 times a day, like about 10 minutes per every time, and then miraculously in just a few weeks, all his pimple is gone. So anyways, back to when he is an engineer that trying right now become a salesperson that's just trying to sell things and did not sell anything, and he only have a few like $1,000 left, so he's like completely broke. And he went online to Google something like, oh, sell help me, or like how to turn your life around, like searching on these kind of words. And then this Silva medication pops up. He's like, oh, I read his book when I was young. So he took most of his money out and bought a flight ticket to attend their seminar. Well, the Silva person's already dead. It's like people who continues to study it. And then he when he attend, it wasn't popular anymore because the person's dead. So it was he's the only person that attend. So this lady who's a mentor, a silver training mentor, um taught him everything in just 2 days, and then and have a lot of practices, and then so he went back and he started using this way to sell his stuff. Like for example, one of the technique he used is like he would try to calm down his heart, and then before he calls out a long list on the yellow page of the lawyers, he would run his fingers across these names, and he would close his eyes and relax his mind and use the silver mind to cool down his heart. And whenever he come across a name that sends like a good vibe into his heart, he will call that person, and then when he calls, he will have a faith in his mind, and his sales doubled and then tripled, and in no time he becomes the manager. Like in the beginning he couldn't sell anything, and after he used his method, and then not just this is one of the method, and he used different method, he's practicing it every single day, and then he starts selling really really good, and he become the manager. And then they also open up like a office in New York, and then he went to become the head manager of the New York department of their that company. And but then he's just doing better and better, and then he feel this is not what he is enough for him. He is really thankful to the silver method of meditation, and he feel like he wanted to promote this training, this to spread the word and let more people know. So he quit his job and he went to do silver training, like not training, he trains other people. And then afterwards, he started a little company called Mind Valley, and he used it to make videos of like mentors about meditation or improving life kind of people, to make these videos and post it online or make a website for them. And then and then he learns so much from the people that he's doing business for, doing website for. And then it slowly developed into like a self growth program, where where he team up with the best self growth mentors. They have meditation, they have exercise, they have like workouts, they have like nutrition, they have like how to think faster, they have like workout relationships, like all sort of these sort of things. I'll leave the link of this company down below. You can check it out if you want to, but it's very expensive. So I bought a year of their I hesitated for 1 year. I saw this person's ad on YouTube like a year ago, and I keep on following him because his like free seminars are so good. And then but then it was so expensive, so I was like, I'm not gonna enter it. I'm not gonna join it. And then so in the beginning of the year, I'm struggling with like being very fat, and then just a few weeks ago I'm like, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna join it and join their like fitness program. And then so so um I paid a lot of money and I started joining their fitness program, and it really really helped me. And then I start joining their meditation program, like all sort of programs. It's just so fun, I love it. So I'm not trying to promote them. They're not sponsoring me or anything. I'm such a unknown YouTuber, so nobody knows me. I'm just saying that. But you don't have to join it. You can first listen to his book, which is this book. It's The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. So okay, now I'm gonna start after I finish talking about this author. So now I'm gonna talk about this book, because I get to know him from his program. So I wanted you to get to know him and get to know the book as the process that I did. Anyway, so about the book. So this book is about your how you think, and there is he categorized the four stage. Okay, let me see. The four stages of self-realization. So the first stage is victimizing, like you're like a victim. The second stage is choose your reality. The third stage is bend reality. The fourth stage is be extraordinary. You might not agree with everything he said, like, because I don't agree with everything he said. I only agree with some of them. So, so for example, the victim one, he talks about how like you are experiencing life, you are just reacting to the life, and you're not like you're just like responding. You're not like actively trying to create your life. You're just like responding like, oh, so much to take, like when bad things happen to you or when unpleasant things happen to you. And so that is the first stage. You're like a victim, and in here it says some of the things I don't agree with. For example, it says that you don't need to believe in one religion, because right now we are in a revolution of the world. We don't need to just believe in one religion. As long as like we believe in there's a higher being, we don't need to believe in one religion. But for me personally, I'm a Christian, and Christian said there is no other God, so I don't agree with it. Um, but then like, and then also he was saying some stuff like, you don't need to marry a person that's in your own culture, as long as it's like a good person. But then I'm like a very forward-thinking person, like, so I just feel like this is not something that you need to address to me. I just think, okay, it's just normal. So when he addressed it in his book, making a big thing, I just feel like, okay, oh, because he's Hindu, so his culture is very strict that you have to be with the person in your own culture. But I'm just like I'm really like just like very forward thinking, very like I don't care about these stuff. So I just think, okay, it's unnecessary. So there might be, or like things like you need to follow your family's prints. You need to follow, everybody have to follow their families, like the idea of you have to get into a good university, then you have to get married and have kids, and then you have to buy a car and buy a house, and then you have to make your kids go to university, and then you have to try to get your kids to get married and buy a house and buy a car, and then in no time you are gonna retire, and then you just like, and your kids are doing the same thing as you do. So he just is against this kind of life, and I'm just like, I never walked the ordinary route, so this don't really apply to me. Like I mean, this advice don't really like make me feel like, oh, it's so like inspiring, like, but for some people it might be like, oh, I'm just living this kind of life, and yeah, I don't want to live like that. So maybe you are that type of person, so if you feel that way, you might agree, you're like, oh, it opened my eyes. Anyway, so that's the victim part. And then it says like choose, the second stage is choose your reality, which is you choose what you believe. Like for example, when you had a bad day but then you have something good that happened, you can choose to look at the good thing instead of the bad thing. When something pleasant is happening to you, you can choose to look at the pleasant things instead of like when you something happened to you, you can choose to learn instead of choose to like hate the world, like for example. like but then in here, there is also some things I don't agree with. For example, they say that you need to practice meditation to stop like hating on people. You should forgive people. You should think of the people that hurt you and make you hate them, and then you should let go and like and forgive them on the inside of your heart. You should like meditate, and so that's one little part of the forgiveness, the not forgiveness, the choose your reality part is to choose what you think. And I just think things like that, like for example, personally, I just feel just ignore people that you hate. You don't need to meditate to forgive them. I mean, if they really do you wrong and you're so mad at them, and then you're like forcing like, oh, I can't hate them, I have to love them, like you don't need to do that. You just like, okay, I don't like these people, I'll just not think about it, and that's fine. You don't need to forgive them, like it's so against your heart, you know. You don't need to force your heart to think about it, to reinforce it, and then to try to forgive them. You can just ignore it. So personally, I don't agree with some parts he says, but then he said practice gratitude. That a lot of YouTuber is saying it, and I also agree with it. If you can think of things you're thankful for, you're much more positive. And also he taught a lot of other techniques. And thirdly, is what's thirdly? Band reality. Okay, okay. Band reality. So band reality is like you can um like when you forgive everything, when you are feeling gratitude, when you have a positive mindset, everything in your life just like when you choose a better reality, you go to the next stage, which is bend reality, which is like everything just happen to goes your way. It's like you just have really good luck in everything you do. It's as if you want something, but then it seems like the universe is altered in a way that make your things become like succeed, like in whatever you pursue. And then so I've experienced this once in my life a long time ago, and right now I'm like sort of experiencing it a little bit, but not like as strongly, but I've experienced a little bit. So, and I've experienced when everything's against me. So I do feel like when you're more connected with the universe, when you are like thinking a good way, when you from the bottom of your heart feels positive, it really does it really does make your reality like everything else. It seems like, for example, if I say, oh, I really wanted to eat this today, but it's so expensive. Okay, fine, I'm gonna go eat it. I really want it. And then you go to the restaurant, you discover that today is this thing is on promotion and it's only half price. Like I'm just talking about a tiny thing, but it can be something big. I'm just like giving a small example. So that's like bending reality, like when you're in the wave. And then the last one is be extraordinary. It's like you hear your calling. It's kind of like when you're doing your job, you hate, you're like, I hate it. I hate it. The last thing I want to do is be here. So that is being a victim. But then when you are like having a like when you're doing something you kind of enjoy, that's being choosing reality. Like enjoy, you choose to enjoy it. And then you're like, oh, I'm finding things to learn and stuff. And then bending reality is like you get promoted, things are going your way, whatever you do you just succeed. And the calling is like you can feel a calling that you're meant to do something. You're meant to do something very meaningful. And you when you're doing it, you don't feel like you're doing chore or work. You feel like just it's a calling for you to do this thing. So that's be extraordinary. And there's something he said I really agree with. It says um a lot of people think entrepreneur is the only way to achieve your dream, but it's not true. You can also work for somebody to achieve your dream. It's like something that you're calling to do this. If you're calling to work for a company, then that's your calling. And like if you feel like I hate work for a company, I want to be my own boss, then being your own boss is your calling. But and then you're being it, so you're answering your calling, you're being extraordinary. And but if you feel like I really hate to be entrepreneur, I just enjoy working for a big company and do really well in it, then that is your calling. You really enjoy doing it. You don't need to be like, oh my god, I have to be an entrepreneur, but I love to work for other people. But then this way I can't be like free. Like people say, like choose your own time. So even though I hate to be entrepreneur, I love to work for somebody, but I'm going to be an entrepreneur and just like experience the pressure, the things that I don't like to make your like own like run everything yourself. It's like something I don't like to do, but I'm forcing to do it because that's the only way to make your dream come true. So that you don't have to do that. You just like let yourself go and feel, what is your calling? What is it that you really feel strongly, that you feel there's a magnet that's pulling you to do this thing? So that's the 4 stages. And yeah, that's it. Oh, it's 26 minutes. So, okay, I'm gonna end this, and I will link all the book name, the author name, and the Mind Valley link below, and you can just check it out. Okay, thanks. Bye.